So one of the concepts I've been kind of thinking about, right, is this idea that magic doesn't exist. But people love the idea of magic because it's easier to explain than the reality. And so the example I use of this is the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall. There's a scene in it where Paul Rudd's sitting on the beach and is getting ready to teach surfing lessons. And so Jason Segel asked him to do surfing. And he basically says, he's like, sees him and he's like, yeah, you got a lot of sadness in your eyes. And Jason Segel was like, oh yeah. And he says, you know what's really great for that? And he's like, what? And he says, weed. He's like, do you have any? And he goes, no. And he says, well then let's go surfing. Like this is the next best thing we can do. And like the line is delivered perfectly and all this, and it's really easy to look at something like that and be like, God damn, Paul Rudd's incredible. Paul Rudd's magic. But the truth is, that's a script writer, it's an editor, it's a location scout, it's wardrobe, it's lighting, it's editing, it's whoever, it's Paul Rudd's ability to say that line probably 5 times. And still make it work. And it didn't get mechanical. It's Jason Segel. It's all of these factors. And what you want to write off as magic, because you don't understand the process, is 20 fucking people who give a shit. It's not magic. It's the same thing I think, people want to look at someone like Hapthor and say, well, if I took gear, fuck you. That ain't the difference.
No.
You'd still be on your fucking couch sitting there doing nothing. It ain't magic. It's hard work, done forever. Getting stronger. Anyone who asks me that, like, oh, what do you think about getting stronger? It's really simple. Bench, squat, overhead, and deadlift, moderately heavy for the next 10 years. It'll take care of itself. You can't even fuck it up. If you're not willing to do that, then we're not going to get strong. So there's no magic to it, right? Like, what anyone thinks is magic, it's work. Done for a long time.
No, I think people neglect the fact that there's not a pill that you could take.
Or even to coaches, right? That someone ends up getting an athlete that becomes a high profile guy and they think that's what made that coach. Nah, man, you don't get it. There's a whole gym full of people. There's decades of it.
It's funny because now, and you've probably gotten it too, like you've been fucking competing for your entire life. And now it's like, oh, I finally got the recognition after.
The overnight thing, right?
You weren't there when I was fucking grinding in the gym at fucking 5 a.m.
You weren't there for the 10 years I was throwing in a parking lot by myself.
Exactly.
It's cool, man.
Have fun.
I know what it takes to be great. And so I respect greatness.
For sure.
Because no one gets it easy.
100%.
No, man, there's no one who gets to the top who didn't earn it.
Oh, yeah, it's not like a coincidence that there's success there.
And now, man, I just love high performers. I just want to see.
Want to be around them.
I want to see what's the coolest shit humans are capable of.
Oh, yeah. That's part of the reason why, like, we do shit like a podcast. I get to be around people like yourself.
Talk to people like that. Like, even on the endurance side of stuff, like stuff I'm learning. There's a girl, Courtney Dolwalter, and she's an ultra runner, and she's done these 2 pretty gnarly. So she won a 240 at Moab. So it's a 240-mile race for time. She slept for 10 minutes. So she ran for 2 days and 6 hours. And then she finished 11 hours ahead of number 2.
Oh, wow.
She got to go sleep and come back before number 2 shows up, right? Like, she's talking about that race on Rogan, and she's like, there was a point where my hearing and vision went. It just went away. She's like, it kind of just got to this pinpoint where I could keep an eye on the trail. I don't know what pushing to that level is. And so that's a different level of performance that I'm not quite sure of, but I'd love to hear about it.
I love that fact. Like, I love strength sports, don't get me wrong. Like, that's awesome, and you rev up, and I've obviously powerlifted. I've done like 10 meets,
Sure.
But there was a few fights that I could like tell you that I've had that I was like, I may die. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there where I was like, okay, well, I can push past anything now at this point. And I'm like, fucking.
It's a different unlock, right?
It's different.